I'm in Grand Teton National Park, Wyoming. This is one of my favorite places in the world. Like, there's no views that can beat these mountains. So today I'm going to be doing a day trip. I'm going to go find some scenic views of the mountains, so let's go. And this is the Signal Mountain Lodge. Definitely the best restaurant in the park. And beneath the lodge there is a marina on Jackson Lake. Now, I was here last year. I took a boat ride from here around these islands, and it was the most amazing boat ride I've ever been on. I do have a video on that. So now I'm on top of Signal Mountain. It's not part of the Grand Tetons, it's kind of just randomly here. But there's a road that I just took up to come up here and has an awesome view of the whole park. This is the view of the valley side. It's beautiful. I noticed this tree kind of looks like an elephant without its ears. You can see the trunk. I'm not on drugs, I swear. There's a little caterpillar. So now I'm on the very top. That's the Snake River over there. And those mountains back there are part of Bridger Teton National Forest. Can't really see any of Jackson Lake, but you can see some of the Tetons over there. This sagebrush smells so good when you rub it on your hands. So this is a really good view of the valley, and you can see the Tetons in Jackson Lake. So all of this formed during Ice Age glaciers. There's been several of them. The last one was about 14,000 years ago, which in geologic time is hardly any time at all. These are some of the youngest peaks in the Rocky Mountains, and they're also some of the tallest. There's a lot of really beautiful wildflowers this time of year in the park. I noticed over here they have an old Texaco gas dispenser. I believe that's an antelope. Mount Moran there is the second tallest of the Tetons. So this is a lesser known viewpoint at Schwabacher Landing. It's really cool. The coolest part is the reflection in the river. I found this spot last year and it's now one of my favorites. The reflection of the clouds is really cool. I know I already talked about this, but I love the smell of sagebrush. I've been getting high on it. And this is the Snake River Overlook. The Snake River is really interesting. It's several hundred miles long, and it meanders so much, that's why it's called the Snake River. And right there is the Grand Teton. 13,770 feet. It's actually not the highest peak in Wyoming, it's the second highest. In 1942, the famous photographer Ansel Adams took one of his most famous photos from about the spot that I'm in. He's famous for his national park photography. And this is approximately the site that I took to one picture. So now I'm at Mormon Row Historic District. So the Mormons started expanding once they got to Salt Lake City. Went all across Utah, what's present-day Utah, then up into Idaho, and then some came here to the Jackson Hole area. And this is one of the settlements. This town was called Grovant by the U.S. Postal Service, and there were about 27 homesteads in this area of Mormon families. So this is what remains of Grovant. There's a cabin and an outhouse. Wow, that's scenic. Outhouse in the Grand Tetons. So it was very harsh out here for the pioneers. There's only about 2 months of summer here. But how they farmed was actually irrigation here. This might have been part of the irrigation systems that they had here. These are all either hand dug or they used teams of horses. You can see it in its hole. There's a bunch of these around here. Chowing down some grass. I wonder if they bite. Let's find out. So I assume this is one of the original houses built in the 1890s. This might have been a smokehouse or another cabin. There's a hole in the door to look inside. Doesn't look like there's really anything in there anymore. And right over here is one of the most famous barns in the world, the Molten Barn. They don't let you go inside. It doesn't look like there's anything left in here. I found this hole to peep in. So this is what the inside looks like. So this is the iconic shot of the world's most photographed barn, with the barn and the Grand Tetons behind it. So yeah, the TA Molten Barn is a good example of national park scenery and history all at once. And now I'm stopping off at Jackson Lake Lodge. I do have a separate video on this that might go into a little more detail on this before I narrate, so it's better. So go check that out if you're interested. Also, it's a National Historic Landmark, the highest designation for a historic place in the U.S. This is the downstairs lobby. They have a giant Apache woven basket from 1909. The lodge is very special to me. Even though I'm not staying this trip, I've practically grown up here. It's one of my favorite places on earth. And this is the reason why. This is the upper lobby with the giant windows and the view of the Grand Tetons. This lodge is different from the other rustic national park lodges that I've been to. This one is more modern. This is an awesome taxidermy grizzly bear from Alaska. And this is a taxidermy trumpeter swan. So there's a secret way to get up to the eagle's nest. I don't think I'm even supposed to be up here, but I know about the way up. And this is the view of the lobby. Notice these balconies are pretty much empty except for that one employee, and hardly anyone knows about this. There's like an isolated elevator that I found out about they have to take up here. This is a really cool artifact from an event that happened here. This is the World Peace Table. It was a meeting between Secretary of State James Baker and Soviet Foreign Minister Eduard Schwabacher something. The meeting took place in September 1989, so that was the fall of the Soviet Union. And it's quoted as being highly productive, at least for the US. So they actually have some original phone booths in here. They're for display only. There's nothing. But yeah, I've never really seen a phone booth, so this is cool. So this is a better view of the exterior. So as you can see, it's a lot different than Old Faithful Inn or the Awahani in Yosemite. But it's a classic national park lodge. It's just different from the rest. The lodge was built in the 50s, but there's still some Gilbert Stanley Underwood influences in this. He was the architect who made Grand Canyon Lodge, Zion Lodge, Bryce Canyon Lodge. I have videos on all three, by the way. But they kind of included some of his designs in this by using modern materials combined with natural materials that he was doing over 50 years earlier. And this is the view from Jackson Lake Lodge. One of the best in the park. At the lodge is this Lunch Tree Hill loop, and it goes up to the top of the hill where John D. Rockefeller Jr. had a historic picnic. The view is so amazing walking up here. More sagebrush. Also, there's sometimes bears and moose up here. Probably should have brought some spray with me. Here's some Indian paintbrush. By the way, on Mount Moran there was a plane crash in, I believe, 1953 of a fairly small plane, but it killed everyone on board, and the wreckage is still up there. And sometimes, if the light is gleaming off the wreckage, you can see the gleam of where it is. Never been able to spot it. That's always fascinated me since I was a kid. So in 1926, Rockefeller was traveling through Yellowstone and here, and this was the site of the picnic where he decided that he would try to protect this place. So this was Rockefeller's view. Apparently, some areas south of here were getting commercialized, and you can see some billboards from here. And there were roads and stuff, so that's when he decided to do a little bit of good with all of his money and preserve this place. So Rockefeller worked with Yellowstone Superintendent Horace Albright on getting protection passed through Congress, and that finally happened in 1929. This was established as a national park. I still have a lot to get to, but this is one of the best views in the world. I declare it. Alright, the sun is going down behind the Tetons. So that was my day trip to Grand Teton National Park. That was only a couple things. There's so much more to this park. It's just one of the most amazing places on earth. I love it here. But anyways, if you like these videos, I have other national park videos. You should go check those out. And thanks for watching.